it's Ina here, and in today's hub, which is called Everyday Art, I want to show you the 10 basic steps I like to use when I do simple art journaling. Like everyday art means maybe daily art, and sometimes at the end of the day, I just need a little time in my art room to relax and play a little bit. And so I fall often back to these very basic steps, something not too messy, not too involved, and something I can quickly finish in just an hour or so. And the first step, of course, would be to create a background, play with some colors. Today I'm using some of my pigment powders as they are still new to me, so that's a fun thing to play with, new things. But you can, of course, use watercolors, you can use acrylic paints, you can use pencils, whatever you may have. I wouldn't use something with wax in it, like wax crayons, because they're hard to work on top of. So whenever you add color and when it's fairly liquid, you can get a nice effect by using your hair dryer and move everything in all kinds of direction. And this again works with any medium as long as it's very fluid. Now in this case, I want to use two different distinct colors. So I dried the top before adding the next color. Now, of course, again, the background is the place where you can play, where you can use your favorite colors or grab what's handy, anything quick where you don't have to think a lot. Like when I'm making this art journal, I didn't have a lot of plans. I just wanted to do what I usually do when I just want to play a little bit. And I often make these smaller size art journals, which of course take less time than if you get into a large project. Now, whenever I make a background, I like to enhance some of the colors with my ink pads. Now, that's just my preference. I use just a piece of fabric and it gives it just a nice little shadowing. And then stamping. Stamping is always fun. Stamping is quick, and of course you can use black, but I use color in color here, a teal for the top and a green for the bottom. And the top are little bubbles, and the bottom is a bit of a marble effect stamp. And of course, you can stamp with everyday items, like for instance, the top of a bottle, like I'm doing here. You can also add some splatter, which I will do in a moment here. I am using correction fluid because it dries immediately, but you can use liquid paint as well. And now for an image. I think a collage image or a magazine image just makes a great focal point. It's super simple, super quick, and I was happy to find this little chameleon who had just the perfect color. But of course, the little fellow has to stand on something, so I'm doing a little painting. I always like to add some other elements to collage pages, not just gluing down images. So I'm painting a little bit. Again, what can be more relaxing than painting a tree or tree branch? There's really no right or wrong, just go with the flow and give it a few little branches. And yeah, this is relaxing for me. And even when I don't have much time, I like to give it a little bit of shading. I added a little black and I make just a little line on the bottom of the branches. And then I will add some white and make a line on the top of the branches. Very quick. This is not a masterpiece. This is not something it's going to hang on my wall. It's going to go in my art journal. And then it's time to attach my image. Here I'm using Mod Podge, the matte version, but you can also use simple school glue. As long as it's fairly wet, it helps it not to make any wrinkles. And of course, a credit card also comes very handy in flattening everything out. So yeah, you don't get any bubbles and wrinkles. But even if you do, that's okay. So here is archival ink for a little border. I always like to create a border around my art journal pages, and to pick up the color which is within the chameleon, which is purple, I'm using an oil pastel here to go around. It works really nicely. It smudges nicely and just gives it a nice hazy look. But of course you can use paint, you can use marker, all kinds of things to create a border. And now for some shading. I think one of the easiest things to use for shading is a charcoal pencil like I'm using here. It's a soft charcoal pencil and it smudges super easy and gives a nice even shading. And yes, you could just do the underbelly of this chameleon, but I'm just going all around it. I think it sets it off nicely from the background. And again, super quick, super easy. And now, of course, some detailing. I always like to pick up little designs within my images and bring them out a little more, either with a black Sharpie or in this case with a white gel pen. Not too much, just some of the highlights, maybe some outlining. It just depends a little bit on the image, what it looks like and what it needs. Here I'm very much led just by inspiration, whatever I feel like outlining, whatever I feel like enhancing. No rhyme, no reason, just having fun. So as soon as I'm done with this, I am also adding a line to the branches. I'm adding a little bit of liquid glitter. You can never have enough glitter. For some images, it just brings in a little shine and a little glitz, and why not? And of course, art journal pages often are more complete when they have a little quote or phrase, or maybe you can journal on them. In this case, I just picked a simple little phrase. Changes are good. I use my Sharpie and then my gel pen. And again, here you can get as simple or fancy as you like. I think writing is an art form as well and very relaxing. Sometimes I use stickers. Sometimes I use printed words. This time I wrote it by hand. And here I'm adding just a few more stamped circles. This time I'm using paint, so they're a little more visible. And then I think the last step I'm taking is a little stenciling. Now, stencils are very fun to create backgrounds, special when they come in these simple designs like this one's, just little squares. It just sets things off. And a little black is always nice in every art journal page. All right, and here's my completed page, and here's a close-up look. There are, of course, a million different ways of how to create an art journal page, but this is just one of the ways I like to play at the end of a busy day when I want to keep things simple. Please don't forget to go down in the description box and follow all the other videos for many more fun, artsy ideas. Bye bye for now.